Yeah. So are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So now what we are doing, we are iterating the elements from the student class, student array list. So how we are doing? We are doing iterator dot next. And what type of element that iterator will have? Student elements. See, if you see the previous example, array list example, just we are printing the elements. We are not worried what type of an object it is, because just we are adding elements of not object type. It's other primitive types, just strings. So all you are doing is to just get the elements and print the elements. So we are doing just iter next. Now in the current scenario, what we are getting? We are getting elements of type student. So we are getting a student object. Is that clear, everyone? So now when I try to run,
Venkat,
yeah,
student list already has elements which are object of type student, right? So
right.
what's the need of typecasting here?
What is that?
What's the need of typecasting? It
Yes,
already has objects of student type.
correct. But the iterator will not understand what type of an object it is. You are adding that to student list. You are adding that to
Mm-hmm.
your list object. Your list object knows that it is of type student. But how does the iterator knows that it is of type student? When it is retrieving the element, how does that it knows that it is a student type or a string type or an integer type? Correct? So you need to specify that, okay, I'm expecting a student object. So that is the reason I'm typecasting it. Now,
Okay, what might happen if we don't typecast it?
it will throw an error. It will throw a compile time error. See here.
Okay.
Yeah, what it does is, see, you're expecting a student object, correct? And how you're expecting? You're expecting integer, sorry, iterator dot next to return as the student object. But iterator dot next does not know. It knows only, it returns only of type object. This returns only of type objects, but you are expecting a student object. How can you do that? You can typecast it to object, so that you are specifying iterator that, okay, I'm expecting a student object, so that iterator says, okay, yeah, I can give you a student object.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, Venkat.
Yeah. Everyone?
Mm.
So now if I try to run the program, so what I will get? See, I'll get all the elements that I have inserted into the array list. I inserted one John Atlanta for student 1. So I am printing the student 1 details here. Next student 2 details here. Student 3 details here. Is that clear, everyone, or any confusion?
Okay.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clear, right? Okay. So now what I will do, we will keep this program aside, and now what I will do, to extend Naresh question, I'll try to create a different object type. See, we have a student object type, right? Now what I will do, I will try to create a professor object type. So what does the professor has? Even professor has name,
Mm.
right? Professor has city. And what we will do, we will try to have getters and setters. Alright. So in the same example, list of students, okay, I have added array list of students. Also what I will do, I will try to create professor object as well. So now I'll set professor dot name Tom. Okay, so what I did, I just created another object of type professor, not student object, professor object. Now I'm trying to add professor object to students list.
should throw an error.
Yes. So why? What is the reason?
It's not compatible.
Yes. So because see, you have added all the student objects, and what you are doing, you are trying to add another professor object. That is fine. While inserting, array list is taking, but while retrieving it, you are typecasting it with student object. Correct? So it expects every element to be of type student. But the fourth element when you're getting a professor object, but you're expecting it to be a student. So what will happen? It will throw us exception, and we will see how what exception it is. See, what is that exception?
Class cast exception.
Yeah. So what is class cast exception? Just read everything.
Professor cannot be cast
Professor
to
cannot be cast to
student.
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 So simple. You are expecting a student object here, but you are getting a professor object. So iterator is not able to translate it. Alright, you have explicitly specified, okay, I need a student object, I'm expecting a student object, but suddenly the fourth element is coming as professor, so it is not able to typecast the professor with the student object. Is it clear? So this is a kind of
Yeah.
human error. I mean, you are purposefully doing it and you are getting it. Then how can you avoid this error? See, you are identifying this issue after adding everything to the list, and then while getting that list, while retrieving the elements from the list, you are identifying that issue, correct? But in the first place, you should not even add, you should not even allow that array list to add that elements, correct? Professor object, is it correct or not?
Yeah.
See, you're checking it during the runtime while retrieving the values, but what happened while adding the values? While adding, it is taking perfectly fine. If you try to see the size of that list, it will say 4, because we added 3 students and 1 professor. So now if I try to execute this, what is the size?
4.
4, because I'm adding professor also. But ideally speaking, you're getting the exception when you're fetching the values. That means while insertion itself, if you stop, you are good, right? While fetching, you need not worry, correct? So
Yeah.
to avoid this kind of scenarios, we have in Java a concept called generics. Alright, so what is a generics? So generics specifies the type safety of an object. So what does that mean? So see, every time when I create an array list, right, it is asking me that element E. Okay? Array list, I'm getting the type, what type of array list it is, E. E means you need to specify what type of array list it is. So now what type of array list we are creating?
Student.
Student. So you need to specify the type of object as student. Now you'll specify the students list. Go to new array list of type student. So here in this example, in the second line, in the commented line, here also you are creating an array list of students list, but you are not specifying what type of an array list is and what type of objects that a list stores. But in the first line here, you are specifying what type of an object that it will store. All right. So see, now you specified array list stores only of type students. Now what is happening here? You're trying to add professor to a students list. So what is the error it is giving?
Mm.
The second line. Oops. If you see the second line, the method add student in the type array list student is not applicable for the arguments professor. Correct?
Yeah.
You are trying to add professor object, but professor object to students list object, but the student list object will take only of type student.
Student.
Student. So you are restricting your duplication logic within the compile time itself. So you will not even go, or you will not even add your elements or the unnecessary elements to your collection. So compiler itself, it is restricting you. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, even though you are trying to add a professor object, the array list is not allowing you because the array list is storing an object of type student. But you're trying to add an object of type professor, so it will not allow you. But why it was allowing us previously?
Because we did not specify what type of array list it is.
Yes, because we have not specified what type of an array list it is. So it is taking all the junk. Whatever you give, it will take everything. If you specify, okay, you need to take or you need to accept only this, then it will take only this. It's simple. If you go to a vending machine, like Coke machine or some soda machine, right? You'll go to that vending machine and you will try to put either $5 note or $1 note. What if you try to give $20 note? Will it take? No, right? There are some restrictions. Okay, it can take only the denominations of either $1 or $5. So while creating that vending machine, they have created a restriction that it should not allow anything other than this. So here also in our coding, we are restricting that this array list will allow only of type student or a particular object. Make sense, everyone? So now this itself we cannot perform because it is throwing us error. We cannot do that at all. So we need to remove that. So now while compile time itself you are getting error. Now if you try to run the program, you will not get any exception because you are restricting the problem in the beginning only. You are preventing the problem. So there is no chance of getting the problem. See, you will get the valid output. Make sense? Clear or no?
Clear.
Everyone? See, that is the reason I haven't explained you this parameterized type till now. So now you got to know what this type is. So this is nothing but a generic. This is called as a generic. And what is that use? What it is used for? It is used to ensure the type safety. What is type safety? See, you are adding a type of student object, but in future if you try to add any other different type other than student, it will warn you, it will complain you. See, you have declared it is a type of student, but you are trying to add professor or an employee, a different object, so it will not allow you. See, leave about professor. Even if you try to add a simple string, see, you are trying to add an integer variable. See, even that will not handle, because this says this is not applicable for adding integers. This is applicable only to add students. So try to create student objects and add student objects. So you cannot even add strings as well. Make sense, everyone? So you're restricting the problem before the occurrence itself. You're identifying the problem and you're restricting it. Okay, how you're doing that? You're enabling by using the type safety, and the concept is called generics. So what is generic used for? Generic is used to ensure type safety. So how can I say that it ensures type safety? So you can give this example. So try to create an array list of type students, and now create two different student objects and try to add the students into array list. Create add the to the students list. Now it gives us compile time error. All right. Is that clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes. I want yes from everyone. All the 10 members. No confusions, right? So what is the use of generics? What is the use of generics?
Yes.
So G1, what is generic?
Type safety.
G1?
type safety of the object.
So what do you get out of it? So what is the advantage you're getting?
You get a students list. We are doing this example. Student list, particular thing.
Okay.
If we giving another thing, it should not allow.
Yes, any other object. So
Yeah.
try to explain in a clear way. So it's not any other thing. So you are trying to add student object. But if you try to add any other object which is of type not student, then this will give you an issue. Which will give you an issue? The array list. Why? Because you are creating an array list of type students. But if you consider the previous example, it was not complaining because we are not specifying what type of an array list it is. See, now if you try to add professor or student or any junk, now if you try to add even string also, it will take. See here, it is taking. There are no red marks. Red marks
Yeah.
means the program is error. Why? Because you are creating an array list which is of type nothing. We don't know what type it is. So you are putting anything, any junk. But now when you remove this and when you add the type safety generic, there comes the issue. So you cannot add any junk types. You can add only the valid specified types. Alright? Is that clear everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So now what we did?
Venkat,
Yeah.
can we have array list of array lists?
Yeah, you can have. You can have array list of array list. So
What
how
if we have different different array list, like of one of integer, one of string?
yeah, you can have. See, again, see, array list is nothing but a collection of elements. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
But it is irrespective. If you are not specifying the type of array list, then you are good. But if you are specifying a particular type, okay, it will take only student types of array list, then it will take only student types. If you specify only integer types, then it will take only integer types. So again, if you are not specifying anything, it will work perfectly fine. But if you are specifying something of a particular type, then you need to ensure that you are passing only that type of value or objects.
Okay. Say if you are not specifying anything, we are not using generics,
Yeah.
and if we try to add
Yeah.
a
So
multiple array
we
list,
can
right?
do that thing.
Integer, string.
So here, what we did, we try to create a students list, right? Now we will try to create another object, array list of objects professors. Right here we added professors list, and we will create a professor object. Right, so what you did, you just created a professor object and you have created a professors list. Now you will add professors list dot add professor object. So now what you have in this program, you have two different types of list. One list is of type students, another list is of type professors, correct? So now what you are saying, you want to combine both these lists. So how can you combine both this list? Just try to create an array list, simple array list. Combined list is equal to new array list. Here in this combined list, what you will do? You will add both combined list dot add students list and combined list dot add
Professor.
professors list. So now what will be the size of this combined list?
2.
2, because you are storing two elements. It is not at all, I mean, it is irrespective of this thing, whether you are storing array list of objects or one object or single object, you are storing two elements. So even your list is considered as an element. So now if you see the list size of combined elements? See, the list size of combined elements is 2 because you are trying to add two elements. One is student list, another one is professor's list. Like that, you can add number of. And again, coming back to the generic things. Okay, now what again if you are trying to create array list of type students only? See,
Should throw error.
it will complain you. You are trying to add array list of object type student, but you are trying to add array list of type array list. So to resolve this, you will give you are trying to add array list of type array list. Make sense?
Yeah.
So you are
Okay.
specifying array list of type array list. Now if you try to add any other type, combined list dot add text or test some junk value, it will not allow because you are explicitly specifying create an
Array
array
list.
list of array lists. All right.
And how do we fetch elements from this array list?
Yes, sure. So how can we fetch elements from this array list? So now, if it is single array list, you know that you have to iterate that array list and get that. Now, I will try to comment this logic. I'm not executing this logic, and I will write other logic to fetch the elements. Now, what is the size of this array combined list?
2.
2. So we will do iterator. Iterator is equal to combined list dot
Iterate.
iterator. Now, same thing, while
Iterator.
Iterator dot next
Has next.
Right? Okay. So previous example we were expecting student object. So we are doing
Yes.
iterator dot next. Now in this iterator what we will have? Array list of
Array.
array list lists is equal to
Array.
iterator dot next. And what is that element type that it will return as?
Array list.
Array list. So we are retrieving array list. Now you will get two different list objects. Correct? Lists. Correct? Now how you can get the list a list of lists? So you will print first
Student.
list size is lists dot size. So you will get first time student list and second time professor's list. So students list is 3 and professor's list is 1. So we will get the output as 3 and 1. We will see. See? Now you got list of lists. Correct? Now how again I need to get students list? So the first element is student. The element within the first list is student. And the second element, I mean, next thing is professor. Yes. Is that clear? So like that you can dig into any level, like you can add hundreds of collections. See, as long as you are able to manage or maintain, you can do that. But see, if it is two lists itself, it is becoming complex for us to decode what type of it is. What if we try to add 10 types of different lists? So it will be a mess, right?
Yeah.
So you will not be doing in that way. So you will be creating a sub list. Yeah.
In real time, do we face scenarios like this, like array list of array list or hash set of array list or something
Yeah.
combined?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you will face in the real time. How it can be is, see, you have you have list of students, okay? Like 100 students. Out of 100 students, you want to maintain two different lists. Okay, so how you can get is, out of 100 students, you want to know the students who studies maths or and the students who studies computers. So first what you will take all the students who studies maths or mathematics in one list. Next,
Mm-hmm.
you will take all students who study computers in another list. Now you combine both the students and give it to a different team. So now you can say that, okay, this list has both the students with maths as well as the students with computers. Now what if they want only particular maths or computer students? They will iterate that list and get the list of objects. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a simple example I explained, but in the real-time scenario, again, it is the real world. I just took student as an example. You can take your loan transactions as an example, or bank example, something, credit card. You want to get credit card transactions for last 3 months and first 3 months of this whole 2015. Consider,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you will take first 3 months transactions as a separate list and last 3 month transaction as a separate list, and you'll combine both together and give it to a different person. What if they want only the last three transactions? They will again iterate that big list and get the elements.
Okay. And Venkat, can you show how to fetch data from this array list?
Yeah,
I mean, if I want to get student ID as we did some time back,
right.
how do we get it from this list?
Sure, definitely we can do that. So now what we are doing, we are getting list of lists, right? So this will give us
Yeah.
list. So how we have to do? Again, we have to do iterator. Again, we need to create a different iterator for this. What you will get? Again, you will get array list only. Oh, I already created the name, is it? Listings. So now, okay. So what it is saying? Class cast exception.
Student cannot cast. Okay. Okay.
Right. So
Student and array list. Okay.
yes, you are expecting a student object. The sublist has student object.
But
Yeah.
again, you are creating different iterators for different type of array list, right?
Right. We are creating, see, this iterator is for combined list. What that
Mm-hmm.
will give? That will give two sublists. Now we got two sublists, and again from the two sublists we need to get student and professor.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay. Okay. So to fetch array list of having different data, we have to use separate methods to access them. We cannot use the default method to access. I mean, a common method to access different array list.
What is that? I didn't get your question. What is the common method?
No,
Which method you are referring to?
lists.
Lists?
We cannot use. We cannot directly use this. We have to define separate methods for each array list, like student and professor.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you're getting the student list, student details from the sublist, first sublist. But at a point of time, you're getting second sublist also. Second sublist, you will not get this object. So again, you need to add extra logic to get professor object as well. All right, so that you need to go each and every level deeper.
Okay.
Make sense, everyone? Everyone?
Yes.
I want complete yes from everyone, because I'm not going to
Yes.
explain collections again other time, because we took 3 complete days to learn about collection framework, right? So even if you are sleeping, if I ask any question, you need to answer in the collections. That is very important topic. Okay, everyone. So this is just maintaining a collection of type objects. Now it's the same with even other collections as well. We maintained list of students. Now what we will do, we will try to maintain set of students. So now I want you guys to drive me. See, my requirement is to create set of student objects.
Array list.
I want set of,
Okay.
Hash set.
yeah. So you can pick any of the 3 sets. Okay, you picked up hash set, so we can set hash set.
Student object.
Yes.
New asset student.
Okay, I created a student object. Then
Create student one object. Add details.
yeah. So instead of creating everything, I can try to copy, because we are doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't want to do the whole time waste again. So I'll just try to copy the same thing. Okay. Why it is giving error?
Not list
So
has
student
set.
list.
Yeah, it has to be set. So now, what is the size of your set?
3.
3. How can you iterate your set?
Using iterator.
Iterator method.
Iterator is not a method. Iterate
Yeah,
is
interface.
equal to
Student dot iterator method. Iterator dot hash name. Then iterator student iterator dot name. With type.
alright.
Yeah.
So now what we are doing, if we do something, we will get all the elements. And see the
Yeah.
order,
Yeah. It doesn't guarantee the order.
it is not giving us the order, because see, it gives us some junk order. Even though you are inserting 1, 2, 3, it gives us in a different order.
Yeah.
Now, what is this warning here? So what is that warning?
Iterator is a raw type.
Uh,
Reference it. Generic type iterator should be parameterized.
yeah, so if you just click on that warning, it will tell you what you have to do. So you specify, okay, change the iterator type to student. So now, Naresh, are
Yes,
you there?
Venkat. I'm
Yeah.
here. Yes, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, see, you're asking me why we are typecasting here. All right, because we are not specifying to iterator what type of iterator it is. Here we are specifying, okay, it is getting student iterator, so you need not explicitly typecast that again.
Hmm.
But if you don't
Okay.
specify what type of
Hmm.
it is, then you have to typecast it. See, now
Yeah.
you have not specified what type of iterator it is, but you have not typecasted, so it will give you an error. But
Okay.
so you have to typecast. But what if you specify what type of iterator it is? It is of iterator of type student.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So now you can remove this.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah. Everyone?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very simple, right? So in our previous class, we learned how to create collections with numbers,
Element.
strings. In today's
Yeah.
session, we learned how to create collections with
Object.
object types. Easy, right?
Hmm.
Yes. So now what is the other thing we have? Finally,
Map.
map.
Maps.
So we will take simple map. I will not even write a single line. I want everyone to answer
Map of student.
because there is a typical thing. It is a key value pair. So I want you guys to answer me. Okay, I have not created the main method. Yeah, go ahead.
Hash map.
Yeah, I want everyone. See
Hash
here,
map.
Hash map.
see here.
Key value.
It is not one element type. Here we have
Yeah.
to maintain both key and value. So you need to specify what is the key.
Student.
Is equal to new.
New hash.
So what type of a key we are using? Integer, right?
Integer.
What type of value?
Name.
Student.
Yeah.
Student.
We are trying to create
Oh.
student objects, right?
Hmm.
So we are trying to create an integer of key is of type integer and value is of type
Student.
Students.
student. Now, so even though you added that, what is the warning it is giving?
Not used.
That means we haven't still used that. So it complains us. I mean, it throws us a warning. See, boss, you have created a variable, but you are not using it. So it is creating some unnecessary waste. So Eclipse is smart enough to give us suggestions. It is saying it is not being used. So try to use it. If you are creating, we have created a hash map, correct? So try to use it. Or else it will be of waste, right? So now we will try to use it. How can we try to use it? We will try to create student objects. Alright? Then how can I insert?
Student map.
Uh-huh.
Dot put.
Okay.
Key any integer.
Okay.
Student one.
Student 1.
Yes. Very easy, right?
Yeah.
So what we did?
We add 3 student objects.
Yeah. So we added 3 student objects. So now, what if we try to add any different thing? Student map dot put
No.
fourth value. Instead of object, we will specify some string. What it is saying?
No.
Not applicable.
Applicable, because you have specified that you are going to add integer and of type student, but you're adding integer and of type string, which is not at all valid,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about hash map. So you can add it and again you can iterate it. So anyway, we know, everyone know how to iterate it. So I'm not going to teach that again.
Yeah.
So is everyone clear about the collection of objects?
Yes.
Yes, Ankit.
Right? And again, tomorrow's class, I'll ask each and everyone. See, and also I'll be sending you guys this code to know whatever you have developed as a project. Okay? You guys can refer this project by importing it. So how can you import it? I will send you as a zip file, right? You can extract that zip file and do right click in your Eclipse white space, right click, do import general existing projects into workspace. So you can click on this and you can find where you have extracted that zip file and click on OK, so that the new project whatever I have sent, that will be imported into your project, into your system, so that you can verify all the programs. I think last time I have done on some other's machine. I forgot whose machine is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you guys are not clear how to do that, maybe tomorrow we can walk through. You guys try it today how to import it. If not, tomorrow I can just explain you guys or make Likita to explain you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah.
I will be sending you the video and on the programming examples. I want everyone to be up to the speed till today, because everyone are going to the recordings, right? So by this time, I think you guys are up to the speed and right up to date. Correct, everyone?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
tomorrow, I will not restrict my questions only to collection framework. I will ask questions whatever we discussed from day one till today. So try to be ready for all the questions. Everyone. I want everyone to prepare well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. Okay, then we will see again tomorrow, same time.
Yeah. Bye. Good night.
Okay, bye.
Good night.
Right.
Bye, 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 bye.